Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to start by saying thank you for inviting us to this prestigious event again this year. I had the pleasure of attending last year, and it was a super event. We hosted a similar presentation and met with some fantastic candidates, both in the afternoon and the following day as well. It's an important event for us in promoting the Ebrd within Korea. And I'm joined by two colleagues today. My colleague Melanie, who works alongside myself as an associate manager in HR. We predominantly look after the recruitment for the Ebrd. And I'm also here with one of my colleagues, Jae-jin. Now, Jae-jin attended this event in 2010 and has been with the Ebrd for 4 years since that event. So for anyone who is going to be joining us this afternoon for our more in-depth presentation, Jae-jin will explain more about her career that she's enjoyed with us in the past 4 years, and some of the offices that she's worked in and some of the experiences that she's had. So I hope some of you are able to join us for that session this afternoon. I know from my previous counterpart that the buttons actually are in the opposite direction now, so thank you for that. So who are the Ebrd? The Ebrd was established to build a new post-Cold War era in Central and Eastern Europe. And it's since played a historic role and gained unique expertise in fostering change in the region and beyond. We're headquartered in London. Maybe we should include a photo of our head office, as our other colleagues have. It's quite an impressive building in London, although maybe not such a glamorous location as some of the others. But we're in central London, and it's a very good location. So we have staff both in our headquarters and also some of our regional offices, which we'll explain more about later. We opened for business with our headquarters in 1991. And in the early years, the emphasis we put on the private sector as the main motor for change in Central and Eastern Europe was vindicated many times over. This was the period that established the Ebrrd's reputation as an expert on transition to the open market, and the experience we gained then has stood us in good stead when we've expanded the original region of operations into new countries such as the CEMED region. So something just to mention there, our common operating language is English, which is just as well for someone who's not a linguist herself. Historically, Russian was an important language for our staff, but increasingly French and Arabic, as we've moved into the CEMED region, are useful languages for us. But as I said, English is our common operating language. We're owned by 65 countries, and we serve the interest of all our shareholders. So that's those 65 countries, plus the European Union and the European Investment Bank. So we help, through our investments, the Ebrd promotes economic growth, entrepreneurship, competition and privatisation, stronger financial institutions, and also we help with the legal reform in our countries as well, infrastructure development, adoption of strong corporate governance, and structural and sectorial reforms. And uniquely for a development bank, the Ebrd has a political mandate in that it only insists in those countries committed to applying the principles of multi-party democracy and pluralism. So where are we? Handy to show a map so you can gain a better understanding of our region. So as I said, historically we were in predominantly Central and Eastern Europe, and recently we've moved into the CEMED countries of Egypt, Jordan, Morocco and Tunisia as well. And something that you can see, albeit maybe in small writing on here, but hopefully you can read in more detail in the information that you have in your programme book, is that we don't, there's a finite period to our help with countries. So far the Czech Republic is the only country, member country, to have what we term graduated from the Ebrd. So that's a country that no longer receives investment from the bank. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Mel now, who's going to explain a little bit more about our operations and a bit more about our people.
Good morning. Okay, so we arrange our business lines and our team structure by a matrix of geographical region and industry sector. So you can see the regions on the right, and as Fiona showed in a previous slide, the regions are quite broad, spanning 3 continents. And we've also seen a shift from our London headquarters, where we obviously don't have actual operations there, to move more employees out to the regions. So we formed 3 hubs in Istanbul, Kiev and Moscow. So can everyone hear me okay? So yeah, we've formed 3 hubs in Istanbul, Kiev and Moscow. Our banking teams cover all business sectors and are loosely arranged under the headings that you see there on the left. You can also, we'll talk in much more detail about our sectors later on, but I just wanted to add that we've recently added the Small Business Initiative. That's a kind of consolidation of all the work that the bank has been doing across the different areas to support SMEs. So you'll hear the terms transition, impact and additionality quite often around the Ebrd. The transition being the one that you hear the most, they must promote transition in each project, and without it, the project won't be signed off. Additionality means that within the area of operation, we won't compete with commercial banks. If a commercial bank is able and willing to compete to work on the project, then we'll leave it over to them. Finally, we must make sure that all of our projects are sustainable, and that's not just environmentally sustainable, but as some of our other development banks have mentioned, it must also be socially sustainable, and there's a particular emphasis on gender in some of those projects across the different areas. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much about business volume in each region. As I said, we'll talk about it more later on. But I did just want to say that within each region, then the sector split will the sector split will look very different in each region. So we might have more specialism in agri in certain regions compared to other ones. And finally, our people, that's what we're here today to talk most about, and we'll be talking a lot more detail about that later, but we have over 2,000 staff with a very wide range of skills, and we're always looking to increase those skills and competencies within our different regions. And as I said, we're trying to promote internal mobility and promote travel to the different countries of operation. I just wanted to also add here that we're looking for different roles within the organisation. We're looking to recruit different roles, and in particular the internships. So there's more information about how to apply for those in our brochure. So we're hoping to see you this afternoon to discuss those opportunities and our business more later on. Thank you.